Wow, okay, so Rest and Ricklaxation, the 6th episode of Season 3 of Rick and Morty landed, and what an incredible episode it was. Awesome, just awesome. I'm not sure if this was anything the season has been specifically building towards, but we have seen tensions slowly accumulate between everyone, and they come to a head in this episode. Rick and Morty both decide they need a vacation after a near miss with death in an adventure. I think what stands out the most in this specific scene though is the fact that Rick seems to revert back to the character we've seen before in the first 2 seasons, where he will openly admit to being wrong or have some flaws. Lately he's been more megalomaniac than he's been before, and here he openly admits he had no idea what to do, he thought they were going to die, and he was not in control at all. We even get to hear Rick question whether he actually hates himself or not, that he may think he deserves to die and is pursuing the adventures as a means to achieve it. Also, great parallels to Conception in the end fight scene of that adventure, and a nice little nod to the award ceremony in Star Wars too. This was a great opener to this episode, and we also got some Morty-Jessica interaction which is set up for later. Basically, Rick and Morty then go to a day spa, the galaxy's best in fact, of course. As they are going through and using some of the services, an alien points out that there is a detox machine to detoxify and rejuvenate. This is our mechanism for the dual personality episode. The machine does its job, but it removes the toxic parts of both Rick and Morty, these being what they personally consider to be toxic. For Rick, it's actually the part of him that cares for Morty, is sadistic and twisted and seeks revenge. For Morty, it's the snivelling piece of self-deprecating character he often appears as, when not suddenly filled with confidence, of course. These become living beings. They are the physical embodiment of those parts of the characters, and they are now trapped in the containment unit of the detoxifier, back at the spa. It was only a matter of time until we had a split personality episode with Rick and Morty. We have sort of seen it before with the Council of Ricks, but never like this, and personally, I thought this was a great story device to make that happen. Of course there would be a spa that physically removed those toxic parts of the characters. It's Rick and Morty. So as the toxic Rick tries to coerce the purified Rick into merging back together, the now confident and cool Morty begins trying to get Jessica to be his, which fails, and he ends up chatting up Stacy instead, some random character which only serves as a plot device. Both Ricks agree to merge. Morty, however, isn't pleased about becoming himself again, which leads to Stacy going into the merging machine instead. The toxic guys appear and Stacy vanishes off into the containment unit, thus exposing the toxic Rick's plan to trap them all along. Both Ricks fight, which leads to some great gadgets being pulled out of the house, hidden away, and in case of emergencies of course, which ultimately leads to the toxic versions flying off to turn the whole world toxic. The pure versions fly off to undo what the toxic guys have done to the world, and here comes the revelation that actually, all along, Rick believes the toxic part of him is the part that cares about Morty, which I feel is very much in keeping with his character. He hates to admit it, never likes to show it, but he does care, so of course this would be the part of himself he sees as toxic, lining up nicely with the Vindicator episode where Rick wouldn't admit he was afraid of losing Morty. The Ricks merge and Morty refuses, flying off to become the Wolf of Wall Street, which leads to probably the best reference I've seen in any Rick and Morty episode ever. A Voltron reference. Mini Voltron. All in all, what a great episode. Overall, this season has been right up there for me, and again, my favourite weekly series to watch. So, what did you guys think of this episode? Were there any references you enjoyed specifically? And what was your favourite reference if it wasn't the Voltron one? Let me know down below. I've been Mr. H, and until next time, I will catch you in the comment section.